Looking for projects for your academics? Need help with your project? Want any pre-built project? Then you are at right place. Welcome to my channel, Project Solutions Hub. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a fantastic mini project that's perfect for B.Tech CSE students looking to build their first interactive web application, a body mass index, or BMI, calculator. This project is a great way to solidify your understanding of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it's something you can easily add to your portfolio. Why a BMI calculator? Well, it touches upon all the core web technologies. You'll learn how to structure a web page with HTML, make it visually appealing with CSS, and we'll be using the popular Tailwind CSS framework for a modern look, and add dynamic functionality with JavaScript, including input handling, calculations, and displaying results based on user interaction. It's a foundational project that paves the way for more complex web development. Let's quickly recap what each technology does. HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. This is the skeleton of our web page. It defines the content and structure, like where our input fields, buttons, and results will go. CSS, Cascading Style Sheets. This is the skin of our web page. It makes everything look good. The colors, fonts, spacing, and overall layout. We're integrating Tailwind CSS, which allows us to style quickly using utility classes directly in our HTML. JavaScript. This is the brains of our web page. It adds interactivity and logic. It will handle reading user input, performing the BMI calculation, displaying the results, and managing the unit conversion. All right, let's break down the HTML file index, HTML. First, at the very top, we have our standard DOCTYP HTML and HTML tags. Inside the head section, you'll see meta charset equals sign UTF-8 ensures proper character encoding. Meta name equals viewport. Content equals sign width equals sign device width. Initial scale equals sign 1, 0. This is crucial for responsive design, making sure our app looks good on all devices, from mobile phones to desktops. Title BMI calculator/title sets the title that appears in the browser tab. Tailwind CSS CDN for styling. Here, we're importing Tailwind CSS directly from a content delivery network. This gives us access to a vast library of utility classes to style our application efficiently. And then, we have a style block for some custom CSS rules, which you'll notice are mostly for overall layout and specific element behaviors that aren't purely utility-based, like centering the body content. Notice we're using the Inter font for a clean, modern aesthetic. Now, moving to the body section, which contains all our visible content. We have a main div with the class container. This div acts as the wrapper for our entire calculator. Its CSS styles give it that nice white background, rounded corners, and a subtle shadow, making it stand out. It's also set up with display, flex and flex direction, column to stack elements vertically. Inside the container, we have an H1 tag for our title, BMI calculator. Next, the unit toggle div holds our two buttons, metric kg, cm, and imperial pounds inches. These buttons have IDs like metric BTN and imperial BTN, and a data unit attribute, which we'll use in JavaScript to identify which unit system is active. Then come our input group divs. Each contains a label for accessibility, and an input type equals number field for weight and height. The step equals sign. 0.1 inches attribute allows for decimal input. Importantly, notice the span tags next to the inputs, like span ID equals weight unit kg/span. These are dynamically updated by JavaScript to show the current unit. Below the inputs, we have our primary button, Calculate BMI. It has an onClick attribute that directly calls our JavaScript Calculate BMI function. The div with ID equals result display is initially hidden. This is where the calculated BMI value and its classification will appear after the calculation. It contains strong tags with IDs like BMI value and classification that JavaScript will populate. Finally, we have a div with ID equals message box. This is our custom alert system. Instead of using intrusive alert pop-ups, we'll display validation messages directly in this box, which fades in and out gracefully. Now, Let's talk about how we make this look good using CSS. The body styling uses display, flex, justify content, center, and align items. Center to perfectly center our calculator on the screen. Min height, 100 VH ensures it takes up the full viewport height. The container class defines the main visual style of our calculator card. Background color, #FFFFFF. Border radius, 1 rem for nice rounded corners, and a box shadow for depth. We've also set a max width to keep it visually appealing on larger screens and made it width 100% for responsiveness on smaller ones. For the input group, we've used display, flex and flex direction, column to stack the label and input vertically. The inputs themselves have padding, border, and border radius for a soft, modern look. The transition property adds a smooth effect when the input fields are focused, changing their border color and box shadow. The unit toggle buttons are styled to be clearly distinguishable. The active class, dynamically added by JavaScript, changes their background and text color to a vibrant indigo, along with a subtle box shadow. On hover, when not active, they get a light blue background indicating interactivity. The Calculate BTN is a standout. We've used a linear gradient for a modern, attractive background, white text, and a bold font weight. The box shadow and transform, translate Y2PX, on hover give it a pleasing lift effect, making it feel responsive. The hash result display is crucial for user feedback. It has a light blue background and rounded corners. Initially, it has opacity, 0 and max height, 0 with overflow, hidden, making it completely invisible. When the show class is added by JavaScript, these properties smoothly transition to opacity, 1 and a sufficient max height, making it appear with a gentle animation. The strong tags inside are styled to make the BMI value and classification prominent. Finally, the message box is styled to float above other elements when visible, thanks to position, absolute, and z-index. Its opacity and visibility transitions ensure it appears and disappears smoothly, providing non-disruptive feedback. Now for the magic, the JavaScript, which gives our calculator its functionality. Getting elements. At the top of the script block, we first grab references to all the HTML elements we'll need to interact with using document. Get element by id. This is standard practice. Current unit. We initialize a let current unit equals sign metric variable. This helps us keep track of which unit system the user has selected. Show message type equals sign error. This is our custom alert function. It takes a message and an optional type. It sets the text content of our message box and dynamically adds Tailwind classes, BG Red 100, TextRed 700 for errors, or BG Blue 100, Text Blue 700 for info, to style it. Crucially, it uses set timeout to automatically remove the show class and hide the message after 3 seconds, ensuring it doesn't linger. Switch unit. This function is called when a unit button is clicked. It updates the current unit variable. It toggles the active class on the unit buttons to highlight the selected one. It dynamically updates the placeholder text and text content of our unit span elements. So if you switch to Imperial, the placeholders change to enter weight and enter height. Though the text input types don't show the text, they change, so the units like kg or pounds change, and the span shows pounds and inches. It also clears the input fields and hides any previous results to provide a clean slate for the new unit system. Hide result and display result, BMI. Classification. These helper functions simply manage the visibility and content of the hash result display div. Display result also uses to fixed 2 to format the BMI to 2 decimal places for a cleaner output. Calculate BMI. This is the heart of the application. It first calls hide result to clear any previous display. It gets the weight and height values from the input fields and converts them to floating point numbers using parse float. Input validation. This is a crucial step. It checks if weight or height are is none, not a number, or if they are less than or equal to 0. If the input is invalid, it calls show message to give the user feedback and then returns, stopping the function execution. BMI formula implementation. If current unit is metric, it converts the height from centimeters to meters by dividing by 100, then applies the standard metric BMI formula. Weight, Height in meters asterisk height in meters. If current unit is imperial, it uses the imperial BMI formula. Weight, height asterisk height, asterisk 703. Classification logic. It then uses a series of if statements to classify the calculated BMI into categories like underweight, normal weight, overweight, or obese. Finally, it calls display result to show the calculated BMI and its classification on the screen. Event listeners. We add event listener calls to our metric BTN and imperial BTN to trigger the switch unit function when clicked. The calculate BMI function is directly attached to the button's onClick attribute. DOM content loaded. This important event listener ensures that switch unit metric is called as soon as the entire HTML document has been loaded and parsed. This initializes our calculator to the metric system as soon as the page is ready. Now let's see this in action. When you open the application, you'll see the clean, centered interface. The metric button is active by default. Metric example, let's enter a weight of, say, 70 kilograms and a height of 175 centimeters. When I click Calculate BMI, you'll see the results section gracefully slide into view, showing a BMI of around 22.86 and a classification of normal weight. Imperial example. Now let's switch to imperial. Notice how the unit labels change to pounds and inches. Let's input a weight of 150 pounds and a height of 68 inches. Clicking Calculate BMI gives us a BMI of approximately 22.82, also normal weight. Error handling. What if I enter invalid input? If I leave a field blank or enter a 0 and click Calculate BMI, you'll see our custom message box appear at the center, stating, please enter valid positive numbers for height and weight, which then automatically fades away after 3 seconds. This is much smoother than a standard browser alert. Responsiveness. As I resize the browser window, you can see how the layout gracefully adapts to different screen sizes, demonstrating the power of responsive design with Tailwind CSS and the viewport meta tag. So there you have it, a complete BMI calculator built with just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This project covers fundamental concepts like DOM manipulation, event handling, conditional logic, and responsive design, making it an excellent stepping stone for your web development journey. For your mini project, consider enhancing it further. Add more detailed BMI classifications, for example, specific ranges for severely obese, etc. Implement a clear or reset button. Add a visual indicator for the BMI category, like changing the color of the classification text. Explore saving user history in local storage. Feel free to grab the code from the description below. Experiment with it and make it your own. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more mini projects, and leave a comment if you have any questions or ideas for future videos. Happy coding! Thanks for watching. Keep learning with Project Solutions Hub, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.